Hello, happy Friday. Today I want to do a video about if you're trying to just wing it in recovery and you're finding yourself unsuccessful, you're feeling frustrated, you don't feel like you're making a lot of progress, especially if you're someone like myself where I found myself like having a good positive recovery day and then I would want to repeat it again the next day and then repeat it again the next day until that was like my new normal and I couldn't branch off from that. So I just kept repeating the same days. And I was like, no, I'm just winging it. This is great. And I kind of started matching what I was doing the day before. Even though it wasn't as disordered as it was before recovery, it was still very much rigid, routine, disordered. And so disorder isn't always only in the form of restriction. Those days that I was repeating were high calorie, really challenging foods, but I just wanted to keep doing the same thing. I just wanted predictability. And so if you're someone like that, this sounds counterintuitive, but what I want you to start doing, or at least try doing, is actually planning to be successful each day. And so if you find yourself getting stuck in a rut and you're doing the same thing every day, sometimes people are like, well, don't plan though, right? Because then I'm being too rigid. And it's like, no, plan to not be rigid. And so what that means is you're going to plan a day that, has 3-4 for sure challenges that have to happen. Everything between there also needs to be challenging, but those are the ones that are for sure going to happen. And then the next day, it's going to be completely different. You can still have all those foods you ate, but you're going to have 4 new challenges, right? And I'm just throwing out that number. It could be much more than that, but those are the ones that have to happen. And then the next day, you're going to choose 4 more new things. But now you're listening and you're going, but Becky, what if there's like cereal as a challenge and I really love it? And then the next day you're saying I can't have it? No, I'm saying you absolutely still have it. But that is like your in between and all over the place kind of snack or food. But then you have 3 or 4 new different things that you're challenging that next day. So it's not like you're replacing or substituting one challenge for another challenge. You're keeping all the things in there that you want to eat. If you eat something and you're loving it, good, have it every day. That's wonderful. Change up the times of day you're eating it. Change up the environment that you're eating it in. Change up the, eat it when you're really stressed. Eat it when you're really relaxed. Eat it when you're talking to someone. Eat it alone. Eat it with a group of people. Like, just start mixing up as much as you can to make every single day look different and have a whole new handful of challenges. Now, that sounds exhausting, right? And it sounds overwhelming, but what's more overwhelming? Doing that or having a list of literally 100, 200, 300, 400 challenging foods that you are literally chipping away at maybe 1 or 2 foods a week? To me, that seemed more overwhelming. To me, that seemed more challenging. It felt like I was never going to get anywhere doing it that way. So though this approach that I'm telling you to try seems far-fetched, it feels out of control, you probably have never had any dietitian tell you to do it this way, it seems reckless, right? Especially if you're eating disorder. That is how you make progress, and that's how you get to a place of full recovery before you burn out, okay? A lot of times people will ask me, I'm so burnt out, what do I do? A lot of people say, take a break or plateau, just kind of stay stable. Don't fall back and just kind of give yourself a break. For me personally, that never worked. I shouldn't say that won't work for people, but if you're like me, that did not work. Staying stagnant or staying in the same place, what happened is I just got really comfortable in that place, and then I had to work so hard to make changes to move forward again. And so constantly be in motion, constantly be changing, so that you can never have a day that looks exactly the same. And with that, each day, you want it to be more and more challenging. You want to be adding more and more food until you get to a place where you're like, I literally tap out. I can't eat anymore. I don't even want to eat any more food. I'm so content with how much I'm eating. But until you get to that place, if you're still in that place where you're like, gosh, I'm laying in bed and I'm thinking about all I'm going to eat tomorrow and I'm so excited. And man, I did good today, but there are so many more things I wanted to eat. If you're still there, keep pushing, like really fast, really aggressively to that place where you can lay in bed and be like, I'm so glad I have a few hours of sleep before I have to eat again. I'm so full. I'm not interested in eating anything else. In the morning I probably will be, but I'm so content. That's what we're shooting for, okay? I hate the word normal, but people without eating disorders, we don't lay in bed dreaming or thinking about or creating different kind of meals that we're going to have the next day. It never crosses my mind. If it does, which it rarely does, I get up and go get some food. That would be like that would be very rare for me to lay down and be thinking of food. I usually eat right before I go to bed. Okay. So if you're doing that still, you need to be eating so much more food, and you need to be increasing, like I said, until you get to a place where you're feeling pretty dang good about yourself. You're feeling pretty proud of the effort you put into your recovery that day. Okay, so plan for success. I've talked about this in videos before, but it kind of kept coming up today in sessions. Plan to be successful. Don't just wing it every day and hope that challenges land in your lap and you're feeling in the perfect right mood for it and it just feels like the right time to do it. It's never going to, right? It's never going to. If you're waiting around for those times, you're going to be in this for a very long time. Okay, and you're not doing much rewiring either, because being able to eat a challenging food in the perfect setting, in the perfect mood, on the perfect day, when the sun is out, what are you even rewiring? Maybe a little bit, but not a lot. But when you're eating a challenging food and you're feeling really stressed out, you just had a hard conversation with a close friend or a partner, your life feels like it's falling apart. There's a lot of instability. There's a lot of distress going on. You got 3 minutes to eat something. You got to rush to the next appointment. That right there, when you're eating a challenging food, that to me would be some really powerful, what's the word I'm looking for? Powerful, what's the word? Oh my gosh, I'm totally drawing a blank, but I know there's a word and it's bugging me that I can't think of it. That would be a very strong challenge. That's not the word, but we're going to use it. That would be a very strong challenge. That would be something that you're like, wow, that was really good, right? There were a lot of times in recovery when I was in an argument or when I was frustrated or I wanted to use it as an excuse so badly to restrict, but I knew I couldn't. I had to respond differently than I always had in the past. Those were the hardest times to eat the scary foods. And you have to do that a lot of times before that feels comfortable and before that's no longer your autopilot response to stress. Okay, so I'm kind of going off on tangents here with this topic, but really just take a few minutes the night before, look at your list of foods that you're still afraid of, write down a few of them, make sure they happen that day, make sure you're pushing in a lot of food every day. The next night, you're going to look at your list. Okay, here are the other foods I'm going to have. A few of these foods I had today were so good, I'm going to have them again tomorrow, but also here are the 3 other new foods I'm eating, okay? And that is how you're going to feel like you're making progress in recovery, because it's very discouraging and it's very overwhelming to just be like, I have so much I have to do and so much I have to rewire and I just don't even know where to start and I find myself falling short every day. That's a crappy feeling. Again, that is more overwhelming than just facing your fears, as scary as it might feel, and just getting through it. Okay, that's my message today. Have a wonderful weekend and please try applying this tool. Okay, bye.